Ramirez with AR Health Plans. So I'm doing this video to help you guys out with Health Sherpa, right? So you can get familiar with it, you can get through it a lot faster. So if you haven't registered, this is the main page for Health Sherpa for the agent. So you would click on the for agents and you would register, right? If you have any issues, contact Health Sherpa at the 188 number. They're going to help you out if you're not able to register yourself or if you're getting errors. Once you do that and and you have an account, you're going to go in here. I mean, and you're going to log in, right? So this is just the beginning. Log in. It's going to sign in right there. So I wanted to go to leads, right? So Health Sherpa is going to have clients, leads, insights, a couple other things. So if you have already given someone a quote, you're going to go straight into start application, right? So once you start application, it's going to be the same process as search marketplace. So at the very beginning, there would always be search marketplace, quote on, quote off. So on here, we're just going to do the application, right? I've already created one for Mr. Andy Garcia. He's not real. But I wanted to go through there because we're going to edit the application from the very beginning. So we're going to go here, right? So let me show you that again. View application. This one's a lead. I sent him a quote, right? He needs to enroll, and we're going to edit from the very beginning. So on here, I put his name, Andy Garcia, date of birth, male, social security number, right? I'm going to continue. If you do get errors, you will have to go directly to the link that's going to be to the right. It's going to say healthcare.gov. And that's where you're going to go if you do get errors. But for now, those plans, 9 times out of 10, will be through Health Sherpa. Right? So we've got an address, McAllen, mailing address is not the same. You would go no, and you would put your P.O. box right here. P.O. box, then you would continue. But in this particular case, we're just going to put that he has the same address. He does have to have a physical address. Most people want to give you your P.O. box, tell them, I need both. So you're going to get the physical, and then you would put your P.O. box. We're going to continue. You can enter email address, phone number. I do recommend an email address, but since he's fake, I'm not going to put nothing. Language and spoken language, written and spoken language, you would put here English most of the time, but if they request it, you can put whatever language they read or speak in. And we continue. Are you applying for coverage? Yes. Do you want to see if you're eligible? Yes. You do got to click on that. You got to put yes on that. Now, this is where you would put the spouse. If they say, well, I need coverage for my spouse, okay, this is where you put her information. First name, last name, date of birth, male, female, safe person. Same thing for children. So you put other person, you put their names, their date of birth, and you put here child. Now, the only time you're going to put the kids is, so the application would be based on income, right? So if they don't make sufficient amount of money, the system's automatically going to tell you that they qualify for CHIPS or Medicaid when you're doing the quoting. So if they've been denied within the past, I think it's 90 days, you'll be able to go on there and you can add them in there. You're going to ask you the date that they received the letter, but I'll show you right now as we go through this application. So tax information. For this particular reason, we're saying he's single, right? He's not married. He does plan to file a tax return. Are you claiming any dependents? You would put here yes if he has a dependent or not, right? So will you be claimed as a tax dependent for 2023? So you do have to ask him, are you going to be claimed as a dependent? Because I've seen cases where adults do get claimed by their kids, or mom is still claiming her son who's like about 25 because he lives with her, or daughter, right? So you would put yes, and you got to put that information. So if they are being claimed and they're trying to get coverage for themselves, you would have to, who is the tax filer? So right here, right away, it's going to ask you who's the tax filer. So once you do this, it's going to start asking you for their information as well. So the best thing to do right here is to actually put the primary tax filer, as the primary applicant. So you might have to get out of here and start the application all over, right? That's something that happens as you're going through the app. You end up finding things that they didn't tell you right up front. But most of the times, it's going to be there the primary, right? Does Andy Garcia live with someone under the age of 19? No, right? And the only that pops up. Let me go back to that. That pops up like if you put the add kids, and then it turns out there's another child in there. But if you did put dependents, you still put no, and you continue with the application because you already put the kids and the previous page. You're already past that. So you put here your social, his social. Does he smoke? Yes or no? You're a citizen? Yes or no? If they're not, you do have to have eligible immigration status, right? Permanent resident card is the most common card that they will have. If they do, you're going to have to get a copy of their card. I always tell them to send me a copy of the front and back. At this point, I fill in the alien number, the card number, the date of expiration, name the does the name on the card match the document? Yes. It lives since 1996. Yes or no? It'll be on the card. Are you currently incarcerated? No. Most of the time, you're talking to them specifically. Are you American Indian native? Here, you go yes or no. Is Andy Garcia Hispanic, Latino? Yes. Race and ethnicity? You could answer it. I most of the time just put decline to answer because it's faster and it moves the application process a little bit faster. Uh, if they have another resident, another type of status, I have seen employment authorization cards as well as reentry permits, but it's always a card with a picture on it. So remember to always get that sent to you, picture text, so that way you can process the application faster. Now, Mr. Garcia is not real, so that's why he popped up here. That this does not name and date of birth does not match Andy Garcia's social security card, right? Because we created the birthday, we created the social. So at this point, this happens like if the particular person gave you a wrong year in the social, and you may want to verify that. It happens. Or the date of birth is off. Sometimes you misheard or I misheard. They said 78 and it was 79 or 87. So always verify that info and you put yes or no. So if you put here, you can actually fix the date of birth right then and there. But in this particular case, we're going to continue. If they are a naturalized or divine citizen, you click yes, and you will get a copy of that certificate as well because it's going to ask you again for a certificate number or alien number, right? So if you got that information, it's easier if you just get a picture of it and send it to you. That way you just knock it out of there and you just continue with your application. Now, does Andy currently get income? Yes, he has to work. Everyone has to work in order to qualify for tax credit, and they have to file a tax return, right? For an individual this year for 2023, they got to make about 13.7 or more a year. It's okay if he makes 15, 19, he's going to get the same amount of tax credit based on that. But if he makes more than that, and this particular guy made $25,980, that's going to kind of dictate what he'll get in tax credit and also what he'll get in his tax share, his cost sharing reduction. I'm sorry. Does he have any deductions at this point? You would put yes if he has, let's say, for example, student loan interest. You put it in there. You would save it, right? It deducts from this amount. Job source, if you do self-employment or unemployment, you can just go ahead and put it in there. Unemployment, it's just going to ask you the state and the date that the benefits expire and the amount he gets either monthly or yearly. Most of the time, I just put there they're going to get about 8,000, 7,000 because they only get it for 6 months or so now, right? So if we do that, this is where we're going to put unemployment, Social Security, retirement, pension, investment, which is if they invest money, capital gains, stock markets, and things like that, rental properties, canceled it. Most of the stuff I don't use. Most of it will be the common ones right here. Right? So we just save there. We cancel that because he's already got an income. Is the amount correct? Yes. If the system automatically gave you a wrong amount, and this is like giving you double, You're going to click no, and you're going to put the actual amount. Let you look at that one more time. So sometimes what happens during the open enrollment, there's glitches in the system, and that glitches always sometimes happened to me one year where it doubled the income from 25 to 50,000. So I had to manually put it in there. So right here, additional questions. We're almost done. Do any of these people have disabilities? These questions will not make a difference in the application. Do any of these people have CHIPS or Medicaid coverage that will end soon, right? So if they do, if they have kids and their coverage is going to end, they're about to be 19, this is where you would put it. Andy Garcia is losing coverage, right? Has the household income changed? No. And you would put his last day of coverage here. But if they were found ineligible, this is where you would put it and the date that they got the letter, and you would continue. It's really important because the kids lose coverage and sometimes they don't qualify afterwards. So you can add the children in there. If you do not do this and the income is not high enough because it's based on family size and income, right? It's just like the state of Texas, it will automatically tell you at the end that they need to apply for coverage with the state of Texas. So if you do this, you'll get them approved and they'll have coverage while they're still applying. So at least they get coverage for a couple of months, maybe if they get back with the state of Texas. Is Andy currently enrolled in a health plan? You can put yes and you can put no, right? If you put no, it's faster on the application. Here, you would put if Andy was getting coverage at work, it's open enrollment, and he's looking for cheaper coverage. This is where you would go and put that he's getting coverage at work, right? And then you would ask Andy, what do you pay every 2 weeks or every pay period? Oh, I pay $300, $400. Okay, so you put it in there, and you continue. It's still good to qualify for coverage if it's more than 9.5%, I think, of the annual income. So on here, I put that Andy moved, right? Because this is our recent changes. This is what's going to give you the special elections. I lost coverage, is where I would click. I got married, this is where I would click. Change primary place of living, right? I went from McAllen and now I live in Cameron. It's a different county. And I moved like 60 days ago, within 60 days. I had coverage, I put yes, and I continued. The very end, we're going to continue. Renewal of coverage, right here, you're going to do the agreements, right? You're just going to let them know, hey, the marketplace, it's going to automatically keep tabs on your income data and clean information for tax return for the next 5 years, right? So it'll always compare one income to the previous year. That's basically what that means. So if they end up making more money one year and less than the other, making less than the other, it might ask for not a tax return, but a pay stub for proof of income. So on here, you must file a tax return, right? If married at the end of 23, I must file a joint income tax return with my spouse. This is expected. No one will claim me as a dependent. If anything changes above, really important, income, address, they do have to report it to you. You gotta let them know that. Hey, if you start making more money, let me know. You got a raise, let me know. You change addresses, let me know. If you had a child, let me know. Right? Everything goes back to the application. We want to keep it up to date. Unfortunately, sometimes the income will adjust so much that they don't qualify anymore because they make too little. So it's kind of important to kind of point that out to them. This is based on your income. So you may still qualify. They'll call you. They'll let you know, hey, I want to know if I still qualify. As long as you're making a little bit more money, they're still gonna make. It's right now. I think the biggest trouble I see is that people sometimes don't make enough to qualify for the tax credit. Like I said, an individual has to make about 13.7. Sometimes if they make less, they won't qualify. They won't qualify, and you kind of have to let them know, hey, is there any other income you're expecting? So that way we can put the application right. And at the very end, they're gonna have it signed. You've already gone over all the signatures, all the agreements. and you're going to continue. So it's always going to request eligibility results, right? This is your almost to the end. A tip, make sure to get the ACA enrollment form signed out. It's a lot faster. That way you can call them back once you're done and let them know, hey, I got your application complete, Andy, right? You're eligible to enroll with the special enrollment or based on income. So there is a special election based on income, right? But Andy's income was a little high, so we had to do a special enrollment application there. So on him, he's not real. So we got to prove his citizenship. We got to prove his social. So this usually happens also, again, when something is off on the social or the date of birth. Income, that will pop up if they made, let's say, for example, last year they made 50,000 and then this year they're claiming to make 30,000. So the income will automatically pop up. At that point, you just want to get a pay stub and have it forwarded to you so that way you can upload it for them. So then we just download our letter. You can review the letter. You can send it to them, whatever you want to do. I usually just go over it over the phone. This plan's going to be $35. I'm not going to enroll them because that's going to create an application. Not an application, but an enrollment. We don't want that because he's not real. So I'm just going to not enroll him, right? I'm just letting you know this would be the last step. You can always change plans or you can edit your application right here. If you do change plans, maybe one thing you want to offer before he goes is dental. Hey, I got dental. Maybe you're interested. It runs about $20. So I would offer, this is just, I only offer Blue Cross Blue Shield most of the time for dental. So at this point, it's either the low plan, the 1B, or the 1A, right? And the reason is the high plan gives you $1,500 benefits. This one gives you 1,000. Some people are happy with just 1,000 because they just want a cleaning exam X-ray and maybe something for cavities. But we'll go over more plans. This is just a quick video to let you know on how to process an application. And you guys can see at the very end right here. I'm going to show you my insights. I've done quite well for from 2022 April to now. 758 leads, 530 submitted applications. And most of it's done October, November, December, right? We did some in January and February, not very much in March. But you can kind of see here 530 submitted applications. And remember, guys, you don't get paid with these companies per application, it's per members. So, keep that in mind. If you have two members and one application, you're getting paid double. So I just wanted to share that with you. Hopefully this has helped you out. If you have any questions, you guys know where to reach me. Let me know. If you do have any questions, I'll be glad to help you. Thank you guys and have a good day.